Hello and welcome. We're live on the Gerda and Tess Ridiculousness Hour today because we are doing all things silly today. We're at a working retreat on the banks of the River Murray with somebody very special. I'm going to tell you that is in a minute. The G&T Sessions, everything that shits us about being in business, but there's always one thing that we truly, truly love, which we will share with you. We're going to be talking about the importance of being visible. We are on a houseboat. So if you're feeling a little bit sick, it's because my camera keeps getting the wobbles because we are actually on water on the banks of the Murray River.
Well, that means that you have the whole being on a houseboat experience with us,
yes.
right? When we move, you'll be moving.
Yes.
So, yeah, you're right here in person with us.
Yes. As you know, we're not normally in the same room together, so if you see us fighting for space, it's because we tend to be a little bit like that with each other. All right, are we going to introduce our special person?
Yes.
I feel like I need to grab your chair and just go, hoik! Nicola Moras. Fancy
here.
So exciting.
It's very, very exciting.
Very short.
Well, you are very... No, now you've made me look short. So I am very excited because Nicola, we've been joking for a little while about the G&T Sessions, and it's usually an and between the G and the T. We should actually have you sitting in the middle because now we've got the G and the N and the T for the G&T session.
I like it.
You like it a lot?
I like it a lot.
And so we're here working with Nicola all of this week in this houseboat on the banks of the Murray, and it's pretty exciting. Not just being here together, which is really, really, really incredible, but we're also just really digging into getting our fingers muddy and messy here on the banks of the Murray.
In the River Murray mud.
In the River Murray mud, while we mess about in our businesses and unlock little bits and pieces of secret and magic and a bit of mischief.
We don't do mischief.
Much.
Tess.
So, we thought today we would talk about the importance of being visible. Did you bring a prop? Go get your prop.
It's got Post-its all through it.
It's got Post-its. There's some clean ones in my room. Yeah, we'll have you
we
post
can
it.
share the... This is how you know it gets used.
This is how you know it's live.
Hey, Cal.
So we are going to be talking a little bit about the importance. Nicola has written a book which will help you. And if you're one of will I give my Like a Boss members a secret? No, I'm not. None of us have to wait and find out. This is all about why and how you should be visible in your business if you want your business to flourish in this modern day and age where we don't have billboards and newspapers and
They no longer exist.
pamphlets on the street corners.
Yeah.
No.
No.
How do we get
We don't do
visible?
that.
How do we do that? How do we get visible?
You just post some stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
And it just works. And then people see you and you make all the money.
Yes.
It's as easy as that.
Easy as that.
That's it.
Which is why you're all doing it so beautifully, right? Because it's so easy.
So easy.
No, we overcomplicate it and we stop ourselves from doing it because of certain things that's going on in our heads.
That's right.
It's our own self-talk about what's going to happen if I actually put myself out there. Am I right?
You are always right, girl. So I think are we right? Because that's our perspective, and you've been doing this for longer, teaching people how to do this stuff for a long time.
Well, I think the thing that most people struggle with, and this is the thing that we've talked about a lot, is that so many people get caught up in I don't know enough, no one's going to listen, the competition is fierce, imposter syndrome kicks in, but Gerda's saying the same thing that Tess is saying that I'm saying, and this, that, and the other, and that can be a really big sticking point for a lot of people. Yeah. So that they decide that instead of going out there and just kind of doing it, and we all know that done is better than perfect, is that they'll kind of play into that stuff and just not do it, and then the world misses out on their awesomeness, which is really sad.
It is really sad. It is really sad. I think that there are so very conscious of my stress this morning. It is sad. I think that there are so many people out there with special knowledge that they underestimate or undervalue, special experience in their particular industry that they underestimate or undervalue, and don't understand just how unique their particular perspective is. So Gerda and I do pretty much the same thing in inverted commas, but Gerda has her particular perspective, I have my particular perspective, and everybody else has their particular perspective. If you don't put your message out there, nobody's going to know whether or not they resonate with you versus the next person, because how do they get to know you if you're not visible?
Yeah.
It's so true, because a lot of people might have the same topic areas that they want to talk about or educate people on, or might have a similar message, but it's your expression of that message that makes all the difference, right? So the two of us can talk about hiring team or managing team or being a leader, but the way that we express our ideas around it is different. Some of our strategies might be similar but still different, right, in terms of how we implement it, our approaches to it. And it's really about being okay that yes, somebody else might be talking about a similar subject, but nobody can talk about it the way I can, and the way you can talk about it, and the way that Nicola talks about what she does, right? So that is so important to recognize. And one of the I don't know, what's the word, excuses, let's call it what it is, or mental blocks that people often have when I talk to them is they are scared that they're going to get in trouble.
Yes.
Okay, what if I say something that I shouldn't have said? You know, especially doing a live stream like this one. Oh my goodness, how do I take it back, right? If I say the wrong thing, what's going to happen? And especially,
all my clients will leave me.
Yes,
I'll get reported.
yes. You know?
I'll get reported. I'll get stalked. I'll get found. I'll be visible. But that's the point. You will be visible. You need to be. Yeah.
And I, for one, can say I've probably said a couple of inappropriate, not right stuff on social media.
Really?
Yes. And I'm still here. Nobody has reported me.
I'm trying hard enough.
Well, that's something to reflect on, right?
Fighting words.
And nothing has happened. I think we make it so big and scary in our minds, which when really in reality it's not. And the other thing that I actually heard just this week, when somebody said she's doing such an amazing job already, but really scared to share stuff on her personal profile page, because what if my friends and family sees it? Ooh. And what are they going to think, that I'm up myself, and what do I know? And
and what if they don't agree?
Yes.
Or they give you feedback, which I wouldn't have worn that top. It's a bit revealing, or I wouldn't have said that thing, or I wouldn't have gone and posted that photo, or like that. And I think part of that is that some of the time, it's well intentioned, and they're trying to be protective, but they're not in your head. They don't understand the strategy. They don't know who. Like, they are not your market.
No, this is true. They're not your market. They're not your market. And I think it's really important when you think about friends and family, especially if they're disagreeing with something that you're saying, if you're talking about something that's happened in your own experience, your own frame of reference, their perspective, if they've gone through that experience with you, their perspective is different to your perspective. So just as professionally, we would have a different take on a similar topic. Personally, everyone's going to have their own take on a similar topic. I've said things in the past about my childhood, and the famous comment from my dad was just an H with several M's, and just like So Dad's take on that particular scenario that I talked about was different to my take on it, and that's okay. We're allowed to have different perspectives. Doesn't mean I'm wrong or he's wrong, and it didn't start an argument. It's just a different perspective, and it wasn't a criticism, it was just a point of difference. And I think it's really important to be comfortable with the discomfort that comes when someone has a different point of view to you. And that will happen when you put yourself out there. It doesn't mean you're wrong, it doesn't mean they're wrong, it just is a different frame of reference.
Yeah, that's right. Just different perspectives and different experience as well. I mean, you guys would see this through the practice and with clients, and they can still present with the same problem, but the things that have led to that are different and unique in each set of circumstance. And I think that's part of the thing that I've seen. I know that you've got a lot of clinicians that follow you And one of the big things that happen with clinicians particularly is that they think, oh, well, you know, so-and-so is doing the same thing that I'm doing, that you are qualified enough.
Yes.
You do know enough. Rachel. You just looked. You know, you've got enough experience, you've got enough knowledge because you know so much more than what your clients know. And I think which kind of leads to the other thing that I think happens a lot is that when you're starting to grow your visibility and starting to put yourself out there, one of the things that I know I've heard a lot is, oh, but I'm not the expert. You know, I'm not the leader in my industry. Almost like what right do I have to have and share these opinions?
That's right.
My take on that is you don't have to be the expert, but you are an expert in the eyes of your clients and the people that you want to bring into the business.
That's right. And I think that's true. I think that as clinicians, so talking about the mental health profession, as clinicians, we often underestimate just how unique our knowledge is. And so for us, you know, understanding how sleep works or understanding how memory works or understanding how anxiety works, they are things we take, or they're bundles of knowledge that we take for granted. And it's easy to assume that everyone understands how those things work. Yeah. And we forget that not everybody does. So we are an expert. You might be a professional knitter and your understanding of how to knit is the knowledge that you take for granted that everybody knows how to do. And so you're already selling yourself short before you've even started because you're underestimating the power of how unique your knowledge is. And even if other people know the same knowledge, even if other people are talking about similar things, your perspective is your perspective, and so it will be unique in that way.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that I find it's a really great reminder as well is that there'll be people that you could have the same experience, you could have the same set of knowledge, but also where your personality, this is where your personality also becomes really important as well, because some people will resonate with Gerda's personality, some people will resonate with Tessa's personality, some people will, you know, not like either of you. We don't know who they are. Who could that be? Weirdos. I don't know. Everybody likes everyone. Here, anyway, in this room. Weirdos. They get the memo, right? But I think the thing is that we can't take that personally. We don't want to be friends with everyone. So why do we need everybody online to like us and resonate with us as well?
That's exactly right.
And you know what? The way that I think about it is, who decides who's an expert anyway? You know, who decides? Who says, there's your stamp, you're now an expert, now you can go out and do your thing, right? It's like, I don't know. Is there somebody that does that? And I think especially, you know, for us, and speaking as a psychologist, you know, we come through the ranks in university and you know, it's very academically orientated, and you think, I'll only be an expert when I have a PhD behind my name, or I've written these journal articles and stuff. And it's like, that is not the definition of an expert, right? It's not. You are an expert compared to the people that you are helping. That's what it comes down to, right? You know something that they need. They have a problem and you can solve it. And that makes you the expert in that situation. And, you know, tying in with what you've just said, Nicola, is just like when our clients come and sees us, and sometimes they're not the right fit, right? We just don't click with them or whatever. It's the same. It's that personality thing. And you need to, you know, find somebody that works with you. And it's the same like when you follow somebody online. Some people you're gonna love listening to them, and others gonna annoy you, and you're not gonna listen to them, and that's okay as well. But don't judge yourself as being the annoying one. There's gonna be people that love you, you know, even though there's gonna be people that's not gonna like you. And I think that's a really important part to accept. I think majority of us like to be liked. I know I like to be liked. Yes, Nicola. You know, and it's hard then to put yourself out there and know that there might be people that don't, people that might criticize you. And it happens, and it's about being ready for that and prepping yourself for it. When this happens, how am I going to deal with it?
I think also, and we've talked a little bit about this too, I think beyond the liking to be liked, you know, when you've achieved in your profession or achieved in your career or whatever it is that you're doing, you've done so because you're conscientious. You've done so because you've worked really hard and you've tried really, really hard to get it right. And, oh, there's a person. Hello, person. You're trying to do all the things. And so now when you're doing something new, such as making yourself visible on social media, all of the perfectionistic stuff gets triggered. And I want to be good enough, otherwise I'm just a complete failure. Or it has to be perfect, otherwise I can't put it up there. Or what if I fluff my words? Or what if I don't know what to say? Or what if I fill in the blanks? And we've been talking this weekend about, done is better than perfect. You've got to get yourself out there. You can spend a lot of time perfectionistically working on something, saying, I'm going to do that one day, when you could have done it. You could have done it weeks ago.
Yeah, and I think what's really, if you think about yourself, talking to those of you who are watching and or listening, if you take a look at you and the stuff that you've got going on in the back of your head, your self-talk and everything else, and we all have those we all have the voices. She says, sitting next to Jennifer. And then another one over there. And anyway, we've all got these voices. And the thing is that if you're prepared to hear the voices anyway and get out there and do it, you're already in front of the game, because most people won't take the action. So if you're looking at the other people in your industry who are, there's new people coming out of the gates all the time. And most of them are going to be afraid to put themselves out there. Most of them are going to be afraid to be visible. Most of them are going to have trouble trying to find their voice and then use that in the online world. So you're already at an advantage. You're already in front of the pack if you just start. And then the more you keep going, that refinement carries on.
That's it. And that's where that consistency comes in, just keep going. And if the thing you post today isn't perfect, and the thing you post tomorrow isn't perfect, and the day after that, it doesn't matter. You will get better as you keep going, but you'll also, what you post today isn't necessarily going to be, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect anyway, because it all goes into the melting pot. It all goes into the mix, and someone will find something that's perfect for them.
Yes.
So what you post today, even if in your eyes it is perfect, it might not be the perfect time for someone to hear that message. So you have to keep, you do need to repeat yourself a bit. Or it might not be the perfect way for this particular audience member for them to resonate with what you've said. So you keep putting yourself out there, and you keep reframing what you're trying to teach people and share with people. And at some point in time, unbeknownst to you, unplannable, you will never know when it's going to come up, but somebody will reach out and say, I really liked what you said. How can I work with you?
It happens time and time again, because I think people that try and step out and they start to become visible, they really judge, and I see this so often, judge their success based on the number of likes and comments and interactions. Is that a good judgment of success, Nicola?
No. She already knew the answer. No, because, we've got people watching, and I can guarantee it right now, there are people watching that are not clicking the emotion buttons in there.
I haven't seen any. I saw one. There was one, a little one.
We saw the rolling thumb up. But people, lots and lots of people, in fact, I would hesitate a guess, this is not the statistical number, don't quote me on the statistical number, but say 75% of people will be watching, but they won't, like Denise, I think, has probably just done the thumbs up. They're watching, but they're not visibly engaging. So they're not clicking like, they're not commenting, they're not sharing, they're not responding to your emails. Because if we think about it, as soon as you click on something, as soon as you click like or comment or share, your friends then see what you've done. And people can be really scared of that. So trying to measure the visible engagement it's almost like a false economy, because we can't see what's going on in people's heads. Some of you right now are going to be like, oh my God, that's me. I don't comment on anything.
Yep.
So why are we judging and trying to measure against something that's really, it's not something you can.
And I think also if you try and factor in how scared you are of being visible online, then think of the people who are watching what you're saying and how scared they are of being visible online. That's why they're not commenting. So you overcoming that fear, you putting yourself out there, you're showing other people and talking about it sometimes. I shared with my inner circle coaching clients, I shared with them the very first live stream I ever did, which was on retreat with you. And I shared it with them because I hate that video with passion. It's terrible in my eyes. And I told them I was so intensely nervous. And in fact, I think the title of it was something like Feeling the Fear and Doing It Anyway, or something like that. I was so nervous, but I did it anyway. And for me, for a long time, the only videos I would do were live streams, because if I didn't do them live, I would overthink it and get perfectionistic. And I knew myself well enough to know that would win, and I would not post anything. Now I do a mixture of things. So I think it's really important to remember that yes, you're a human being, and you're feeling nervous, and you're feeling anxious, and you're worried about being perfect, and you're worrying about being liked. They're all common human feelings. We all feel those things. So comparing yourself and how confident you feel against how confident we look, that's not a fair comparison either. So it's not a fair comparison. So forget the likes and the follows and the shares and all that stuff. And forget how confident everybody else looks, and just focus on the doing. Because we all have days where we're not quite feeling the confident and I think Energizer bunny that we look.
That's right. And I also have seen it play out time and time again, where if you're actually fronting up, say, you're talking live streams, so let's talk live streams. If you actually say to people, hey, you guys, like you go live and you're like wanting to vomit, and you're like, okay, I'm going live. This is my first live stream. Please give me the love. Give me some encouragement. I promise you I'm going to get better at this. It can be like a minute long. It doesn't have to be, jibber jabber Cindy. Like I know we can be. Always filled with value, naturally. But if you're open and honest with your audience, the thing that people love and resonate with, and I know it's why both of you have a really amazing following and things like that, is because you're open, you're real, you're raw, you're vulnerable, you're not trying to make things perfect. And it actually gives your audience permission as well to own, some of their imperfections and their fears. So if you're able to be the leader of those types of conversations and talk about the things that no one else is willing to do, then it really helps. There's no veneer then. It's just like, this is me, this is how I am, this is how I can help, and your audience will love you for it because they're worried about the same things that you're worried about.
100%, and we all know that, authenticity is talked about so often these days. And the thing is, and a lot of people love the term, but this is what it comes down to. This is where you actually get to not only talk the talk of authenticity, but walk the walk of authenticity. It's easy to just talk about it behind the scenes, but to actually walk it and to be real, that I am, scared to go live, to fall over my words, or to get this wrong. How does this work? I've got a video out there that's of me sideways, right? And I kept it on there. It was just part of the journey. And people want to see you being authentic, to being vulnerable and being real. The age of that perfection that we often see still on Instagram and stuff like that, it's passing, right?
Well, people's. Can I swear on here?
Yes.
It's like the whole thing is like one thing we hate about, or all the things we hate about business, and the one thing we love, right?
Yeah.
So the thing that shits me, I can't swear. You can swear if you want. So, but people's bullshit detectors these days are so finely tuned, and you see it all the time. If people are like authenticity and things like that. When people are not walking their talk, you can smell it a mile away. If they're not owning their stuff, you see it. And if you're trying to be someone you're not, it's just not going to work.
It's worse, right? Trying to put yourself out there and look like something that you're not really. And it's hard to maintain that. It's going to be very hard, right? So it's better just put it out there. What's the saying? Boots and all? No, warts and all.
Warts and all. I mean, boots and all, warts and all. I think we could use both.
That's the non-English speaker on the podcast. What's not? Just put it out there, and be vulnerable, and people appreciate that, and it means that you open up the path for other people to do it as well. And at the end of the day, on days that I'm not feeling it, I always ask myself, so do you want to do this thing of helping more people in better ways? If yes, then just do it.
Sure.
Right? And it's about reconnecting back again to your purpose for why you want to do this thing, which can be hard sometimes.
Yeah,
it can be.
It can be hard, and there is an energy. I know that if I'm not feeling the energy, and I'm dragging my feet a little bit before putting something up on Facebook or whatever I'm doing on the day, I always feel better after I have done it.
Yeah.
I always feel the energy as soon as I'm, with a live stream or whatever, as soon as the energy, as soon as that little button there that says live right there.
Yeah.
Live, I'm present. I'm present, and my energy is with the people. And I often will say to my clients, don't think about an audience, don't think about a crowd, don't think that you're talking to a room full of people.
Don't think about being naked either.
No, don't think about people being in their underpants. Just think about one person. Think about there might be just one person who might find what you've got to say today helpful, and that's the one person. That's the only person you need to have in your mind, is that one person who could be helped by you sharing something today, and you can't even tell how powerful it might be.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what situation they're in today.
And sometimes the things that you think, that you were talking earlier about forgetting our knowledge and taking things for granted. Some of the things that I've shared in the past, I know that you guys have experienced this as well, where you think like, I'm just putting this out there, and it just needs to be out there, and you're not really expecting anything back from it. They're often the things that the posts that you do get loads of comments on. Or interactions on, or replies to emails from, and things like that. And you're like, wow. Like, I had a salt and vinegar. I put up a post a few weeks ago about, oh my gosh, salt and vinegar chips are my nemesis and my weakness. The comments on that were ridiculous.
Yes.
And that's a really good point. Not interesting as well. Good to know you like salt and vinegar for our shopping trip maybe later today.
Yes.
But that's the thing, our clients, again, coming back also to us as practitioners, running businesses and stuff like that, they want a bit of a sneak peek into who we are, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't mean you reveal your whole pedigree, right? But sharing little hobbies or little preferences that you have, you refer to it as the disco ball analogy, those little aspects of what you are. And I think that's what people love, because that comes back to being real.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was the most ridiculous thing. I was really hungry. I was like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. I know I've got a packet of salt and vinegar chips in the pantry. And I was like, no, Nicola, they're my weakness.
It's hilarious. So I think those moments when we are vulnerable, and vulnerability is another word that gets thrown around a lot, and people assume that means, I have to air my dirty laundry, or I have to get emotional for the sake of likes. No.
That's inauthentic.
That's right.
Yes. And not vulnerable.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's manipulative.
That's right. Yes. So, being vulnerable, being authentic, all of those words actually do, when you stop and think about what they actually mean, it means being open, and being open to experience, being open to sharing, being generous, and doing things despite you being a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit nervous. Now, nobody wants you to air your dirty laundry unnecessarily. Nobody needs to see that, unless there's a really genuine reason why you are sharing that particular story. If you have a health issue in your background, or if you have a relationship issue in your background, or you have childhood issues in your background, and you're sharing those for the... That's a bit of a dance moment.
That's my go and pick up the kids from school, but I'm not at home. Reminder.
No, we are
Sorry.
not at home.
See, it's live.
Dance breaks.
But the whole point is, you can share those stories if there's a thread of rationale behind it. It fits with your broader message, or it fits with who you are as an authentic person. sharing is okay. Don't be afraid to do that stuff. Don't be afraid to have the alarm going off, or the workmen turning up in the background, or swearing accidentally or on purpose. It doesn't matter. The sky won't fall in. So that's what I mean by vulnerability. You're putting yourself out there. You're vulnerable to experience. You're open to experience, and you're open to stuff happening too. Yeah, it's okay.
And I think that's the thing that you guys can do while you're doing this is kind of ham it up. This is how you know we're live, friends. And then you do what you need to do to get yourself back in track and in the train of thought, and then carry on. And people like that. Yeah. And if they don't like it, then you're not your friends.
And it becomes part of your story of growth, right? That's just what it becomes part of. Yeah. Like, when you talk about that, I just, my mind reminds me of the day I was doing a live stream outside, because it was a lovely sunny day, and was sitting in the garden. Of course, then the postie arrives, and the dogs start going crazy, and I was a little bit nervous at that point in time.
I remember that one.
And I quickly moved to go and get the parcel, and there I knock over the tripod with the phone and falls off. And I put it back up again. It's like, we'll just continue going.
I had a similar experience just a couple of weeks ago with a parcel that arrived, and I've gone, I'll get it later. I've gone, no, I think I know what it is. I ran to the door, got it, and then unboxed it while we're on the live, and it was a very fabulous jacket that everybody loved.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to buy into the word expert if you're uncomfortable with it. Just trust that there will be some people who are really interested in what you have to say, and there's going to be some people who aren't interested. That's okay. They can go and watch Neighbours or other things that interest them. They don't need to. You don't need to win all the people. But we do need to say happy birthday, Frank. I can see you're watching, and it's his birthday today. So happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
We almost Andrew's sisters did that.
Oh yes,
I didn't even know who that is.
If only we'd practiced. Okay.
Now I want to make use of this opportunity, because I'm sure
now we got a reaction.
Yes, maybe was that from Frank?
I think so.
The good singing then.
There it is.
Because obviously I'm going to make sure all my people listen to this now that I have Nicola on the G&T show, because I also know what the answer to this is, because you've trained me well. And
It's been a number of years, hasn't it?
And people often don't believe me. So I want you to tell people, how often should they post on social media? Is once a week enough, Nicola?
Once a month will do it, won't it?
I think once a month is fine. No. Well, so I actually had this conversation this morning with someone that you guys know quite well. And the question was, well, how often should I post? And I said, well, at least 5 times a day. And she's gone, and I said, well, actually, I want you to do 10 a day. So, I'm letting you off by saying 5. I was being very kind, because you can build up into it, right? But so the thing that a lot of people will think is that, oh my gosh, if I post 10 times a day, I'm going to flood my people. Well, the fact of the matter is that people on Facebook will see literally 10% of what you post. So if you're only posting a couple of times a week, it's going to take them 5 weeks before they see one post, if they don't come over and actively look at your page. So this is as they're going through their scrolling mindlessly through their newsfeed. So if you're posting 5 times a day, they should organically see you at least once every couple of days. So in an ideal perfect world, if I had my way with everybody, it's at least 10 times a day. Now, most people go, it's usually the reaction we get. So if you think about 5 posts, you can do a live stream, which is 1 post. You post up a lifestyle photo of you, whether it's out walking, and it doesn't have to be you, but it could be the scenery that you're waking up to. It could be at the gym, some kind of lifestyle-y thing. Your kids, if you're happy to put photos of your kids up, it depends on your preference. Do a couple of those, I call them picture quotes, like meme things that you might have your quotes on there, or people that you really admire. There's another 2 there. And then you've only got 1 more to come up with, which could just be like a quick quip or a
Say that 10 times fast.
Or a song lyric. No, but, you know, something like your blog, ideally, or maybe an excerpt out of your live or something like that. You know, there's your 5 posts done. It's not about trying to make it hard for you, but we're talking about visibility. And the payoff for visibility is that you get to help more people. You get to inspire more people. You get to build trust with people so that you become the trusted advisor. They feel like they know you, they resonate with you and what you're saying. And so when they actually say, oh, Gerda, you know, I saw you and Tess, I saw you do this thing, you know, I really need your help. They've already, I call it indoctrinated. They're already kind of indoctrinated and in your energy, in your vibe, they're sold on who you are, and they're much more likely to implement, listen, do the work. And it just makes for a much nicer experience, I think.
I think it's a really important point too. If you're teaching people to do things, or you're sharing with people how they can make positive changes in their lives, you want your audience to be the people who are going to implement the things you're talking about. Otherwise, you know, you get exhausted and burnt out trying to push all of that shit up the hill. The reality is you only really want to work with the people who are motivated and inspired by you. How are they going to get motivated and inspired by you if they can't see you?
Yeah, they don't even know who you
they
are.
don't hear your voice, and they don't hear your message. You know, this is, and it's just the world we live in. And I think, you know, we can all argue and say, oh, I don't want to be on social media, and I don't like social media, and it takes up too much of my time, and it is responsible for all the evils in the world. Well, you can argue that as much as you like, or you can just do it.
Think of it like a tool. It's like, you might not like your phone, but it's a damn good way of getting in touch with people. So.
And the thing is, when you are visible on social media, you don't have to do it as much selling.
No.
Because just being yourself and sharing your message sells you already. Whether you're a practitioner, a business coach, a visibility coach, because people go, you know, I resonate with that. That makes sense. I think this is the right person to help me solve these problems that I have.
Yeah.
So by the time when they reach out, you don't have to do a sales call.
Because we know how much you love those.
Yeah, or, you know, try and convert them into booking. And I know the most of our people find that yucky and icky, right? So it just makes it so much easier for people to say yes, to work with you, to accept your help, yes, for them to work on getting to the life they deserve, you know, and even our clinical clients, because they trust you. It's easier for them to go, I'm happy to risk engaging with you in your practice because I trust you've been consistent as well. And we know how important consistency is in relationships, right? So I'm going to say yes to coming in for appointments or to working with you or doing your course because we have been consistent in our visibility, in showing up and being real and just being visible, that it makes it easier for those people to then take action, you know, and get to where they want to get to.
Yes. So I guess, you know, think about all of the things that you do regularly that help you in your work, help you in your role, and you don't think too much about it. You just know that that's part and parcel of the job you have to do. Being present on social media is now part and parcel of the job we have to do. It's not narcissism. It's not, you know, big noting. It's not all those lovely things that people like to throw at you. It's actually just doing your job. So it's part of getting the message out there. It's part of, I think, particularly for mental health professionals, I think it's so important to make this part of the common everyday discourse so that we are also contributing to reducing stigma around mental health. For me in particular, it's around business owners feeling connected. Gerda has a very similar ethos around, you know, private practice owners feeling connected and reducing, for both of us, you know, reducing that stigma around getting help in your business. So whether it's mental health conditions, whether it's business ownership, whether it's being a professional knitter, whatever it is, whether it's being visible. See, I can't even do that. I'm lucky I could even say that.
You need a knitting coach.
I so need a knitting coach. I'd love to know how to crochet if anyone wants to teach me. You know, with what you do with teaching people, you know, none of us could do what we do and reach the people we reach if we didn't make this part of our work. This is part of our work. And that's the rationale behind it. It's not It's not about sales. It's not about narcissism.
No.
It's about this is how we do our job, and increasingly we encourage you to take that approach too.
Yeah,
Love it.
absolutely.
I think it's lunchtime, ladies.
My stomach's grumbling.
It's 20 to 3. We've had a big
A
day.
late lunch. Is that
Make changes to your contacts.
That's how you know we're live.
All right, gang. It's always fun to rumble together in the room. We're squished together because we love each other so much. And it's been great having a chat with you as well. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and thanks for those that have commented as we've been
you.
talking. I'll most certainly also be checking those out. I'm sure you guys will as well.
course.
And thank you for the thank you, Frank. Have a beautiful birthday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.